The Frankfurt School is back in fashion, but anyone daring to discuss its ideas is slurred to stifle debate. What is it, and why does it matter? Kolakowski noted that once popular philosophies never die out entirely, Marxism drags on its poor existence supported by certain intellectually miserable but loud movements which look for issues that can, however vaguely, be presented as issues of capitalism or anticapitalism. One of these movements is radical feminism, and its roots are in the Frankfurt School, founded in 1923 by some young German intellectuals. Having originally planned to call it the Institute for Marxism, they chose the Institute for Social Research to be more subtle. They wanted to adapt Marxism because by the early 20th century, the opposite of all three of Marx's main predictions had happened. The proletariat had shrunk and become richer, the middle class had grown and become richer, and so had the upper class. Intellectuals doubted the proletariat's revolutionary and liberating role. We have little faith in the average sensual man. We do not believe that he can do much more than describe his grievances. We do not think he can prescribe the remedies, wrote Webb. They still believed society was irremediably diseased and needed radical transformation, but only the elites could do it. A bottom-up approach having failed, a top-down one was needed. On this, the British Fabians, Lenin, Mao, and later Stalin all agreed. These saviour elites also clung to the Marxist analysis of society in terms of abstract categories. Marx's daughter said women are the creatures of an organised tyranny of men, and critical theory, developed by the Frankfurt School, also regards race this way. Following the failings of the German Social Democrats in the 1920s, the Frankfurt School thinkers modified Marxism from economic to cultural terms. They wanted to infiltrate what Marx called the hidden abodes of social power, and considered the family the central reactionary germ. The Marxist attack on the family started when Engels studied the German attorney Bachofen's theory in The Mother Right, that there had been a matriarchal stage in human history. There was no war, the sexes were equal, and people were promiscuous. Engels then traced civilization's problems to the invention of animal husbandry. He believed this meant private property developed. Men then controlled women's sexuality to ensure their real heirs inherited their property. Engels called this the world historical defeat of the female sex. Erich Fromm, a Frankfurt School member, also found in the theory of matriarchy a close kinship with the ideals of socialism, especially because private property does not yet exist. The theory of matriarchy, he argued, could not but win the sympathy of Marxists. Fromm even termed the psychic basis of Marxism the matricentric complex. Matriarchy became a canon of Marxist thought, despite no archaeological or ethnographic evidence of an actual matriarchy. Andrea Dworkin claimed fairies were a real Neolithic people, matriarchal and probably polyandrous. If the family is intrinsic to capitalism, and capitalism is corrupt, then the family must be corrupt. The Soviet Commissar of Education said, "Our problem now is to do away with the household and to free women from the care of children." Marcuse, who popularized the Frankfurt School for the 1960s radicals, proclaimed the need to start a global revolution to transcend the existing order and create qualitatively new social conditions, and they had learned from Mao to force, not wait for it. Marx is the prophet, Marcuse is his interpreter, Mao is his sword, said the revolutionaries. Marcuse saw feminism as a revolt against decaying capitalism, and the most important and potentially the most radical movement that we have, society had to be subverted. Wilhelm Reich lamented the suppression of genital sexuality in children, and Alfred Kinsey researched paedophiles inducing orgasms in babies as young as 5 months, claiming childhood sexual abuse was harmless. Marcuse's liberated society, like Bachofen's promiscuous commune, is all about pleasure. Repression, according to the Frankfurt School, is inherent to all families in capitalist society. To end it, the family had to be abolished. Only then would capitalism fall. Marcuse offered no specific utopia beyond pleasure, only dissolution to achieve revolution. Radical derives from the Latin radix, meaning root. Unlike essentialist feminism, radical feminism aims at uprooting the very instinctual structures of human beings, including ideas about reproductive instincts and biology. Kinsey's 842-page book on female sexuality didn't mention motherhood once. In the pursuit of revolution, children are not to be raised according to traditional gender roles based on their biological sex. Some theorists, committed to the Marxist vision of human malleability, regard even biological sex itself and race as mere social constructs. But Soviet women, just like the women in the Israeli kibbutzim, refused to have their children taken from them and put into communal dormitories. They prioritized caring for their own children, despite the insistence of male socialist theorists. Biology limits malleability. What is the essence of womanhood? Everything about women is a mystery, and the mystery has one answer: pregnancy, said Nietzsche. In its disdain for motherhood, and in its prioritizing of identity politics over individual women's choices, radical feminism is the new misogyny. The patriarchy paradox explored the fact that in no society has the protector role been mainly female. My next video, The Matriarchy Mystery, will explore the fact that in no society has the role of caring for infants been mainly male.